So we got we're recording now. And so tonight we are talking about mindset. And in our first module for the My Bariatric Adventure course and community, one of the things that we talk about is your why. So and it doesn't have to be for weight loss surgery. It could be for any goal that you're working to accomplish. So what I want to encourage you to do is just take some time to sit down and think about why you're doing what you're doing. Why are you working on the health and fitness goals that you have? And you want that why not to be just to be healthy. You want to dig a little bit deeper and uncover the layers of why you're doing what you're doing. And so if maybe your first layer is, I want to be healthier. So why do you want to be healthier? What is being healthier going to accomplish for you? For some people, that means they get off of all their diabetes medications. That means that they can get down on the floor and play with their kids or their grandkids. That means that they can go on the dream vacation that they've always been wanting to do, or that they feel like maybe that will boost their self-esteem and self-confidence to go after the education or maybe the job, or maybe even start their own business. And so what I want you to do is to take a little bit of time and think about what is your why, and you can share in the chat with us as well. When it comes to your health goals, what are the reasons that you're striving to do better? For me, I'll share one. A couple of weeks ago, I went to spend time with my family in Michigan, and we were helping them move. So we were moving furniture from one house into another. And the last 3 or 4 years, I have been focusing on my eating habits, but not necessarily on exercise or activity. So when we started to move furniture around, I was really having a hard time. I was huffing and puffing. I couldn't, do what I could do 3 or 4 years ago, and felt like I was pretty deconditioned. And so as soon as I came home, I started to think out, what can I do differently? What can I map out for my health and fitness goals that's going to fit into my lifestyle? And so a couple things that I looked at doing. One is scheduling my time for exercise in my day. And I also subscribed to an app where I could do some flexibility and yoga training, because I really, really enjoy that. But for me, my deeper why, my deeper reason was that I didn't want to be debilitated 10 years from now and not be able to bend over and pick something up and have my back go out, or feel like I'm huffing and puffing. And, maybe 5 years from now, we want to go to Australia. I don't want to go to Australia and not be able to move. So for you ladies, what can you share with me for your health and fitness goals? What are your whys?
Well, I know recently my dad had fallen, and and one of the things is, ankle mobility and hip mobility, and like getting up off of the floor, and that really decreases as you get older. And and as I'm getting older, I recognize I'm not as nimble as I used to be. And like even just, I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but like the Korean deep squats, like just sitting in a squat, and I was not able to do that. And so that's kind of been I've been really focusing on doing that lately, is trying to do like ankle mobility and hip mobility exercises to be able to get into that. So that way, if for some reason I'm falling, I'll have that mobility or something like that.
So your why is really for health reasons, to be balanced, to have balance and be able to move well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. Yarosel, what is yours?
Okay, so I have some of them, some reasons. The first one is healthy. I am overweight all my life. Um, and right now I have diabetes. And also cholesterol. It's like, a lot of things that I want to work with. Um, I'm from Puerto Rico and I live in Florida, so I had to travel a lot, and it's very uncomfortable to travel other ways.
Yeah.
So I'm that's another one, and I want to do have more energy to do a lot of. I'm finishing my PhD, so I'm thinking that I have so much to do that I can right now. And so I decide, and I decided 2 years ago. But I was in the middle of a big process because I had a laparoscopy, but the
Mhm.
doctor found veins because I had an obstruction, and we didn't knew. So we just passed the last 2 years trying to find why, what happened, and all of that, and try to do something to to fix it. So now it's fixed, and now I can have the surgery.
Oh,
So yeah, I'm gonna have it in the 31st. So this is why, really, this is the reason that well, a lot of reasons that
mhm.
I want to do it. I have friends. I have a friend that she was almost 500 pounds, and right now she's another person,
Mhm.
like another
Yeah.
person, and she's doing a lot of things. She opened her company. Um, I don't know, like this is that's my reasons.
Yeah. Yeah. So it sounds like you have lots of great whys, to be
Yeah.
healthy, to be able to fly comfortably. And it sounds like you got some big dreams that you're trying to pursue.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, fantastic. So, as we talk about why and we talk about mindset, one of the things that comes to mind is building healthy habits. And so as we build healthy habits, what I've noticed for myself and I've noticed for other people is it's not always easy, right? Like we have all the best intentions, we can start out really strong and then something happens. And it can be good or bad. It could be you're moving into a new house, it's fun and it's exciting. It could be someone having illness or you having illness, and so that can kind of derail us for a little bit of time. But one of the things I think is super important is being able to have some either routines or habits or rituals in place so that when we get off track we just kind of fall right back into those. And so let's kind of take it, and we'll talk about three separate areas. But so let's talk about eating habits and how, as you're preparing for surgery, as you're preparing to live a healthier life in that particular area, what are some things, where are some areas that you want to work to improve, or what are some things that you're testing out to see how they work for you, or things that you've put into place that are really working well? So what do you ladies have around eating habits that maybe where you're struggling or what you're tested out or what you found works really well?
Well, I have a big struggle. I'm Hispanic. So so um we eat a lot of things that we suppose,
Mhm.
that we're not supposed to eat. And I have a family that I have to cook and all of that. So I was trying to change um my mindset and at the same time cook for them and for me. It's and I think that's the hard part. Like try to deal with, because I had two children and I have my husband, and it's like just change, both. I saw a nutritionist that worked for me before,
Mhm.
using a lot of things that are Hispanic and I can find very easily in supermarket. In that moment work right now, I don't know why. I don't know if I'm old, something. It's work, but it's so slow. Like it's not how it was. So I think with the surgery and that kind of, right, the diet that I work with her, it can work.
Yeah.
Um, but that's the struggle, like with the kids, with everything at the home, and I had to cook some. different things, I think that's the one. But
Mhm.
it's also because when you grow up with, with cultural food and all of that, it's hard to
Mhm.
break that. So I think that's my harder struggle with the food.
Yeah. And how old are your kids?
Well, one is 14 and the other one is 12.
Okay, okay. So
Yeah,
are they eating a lot of kid food, or is it they're eating Hispanic food?
Hispanic food. Oh,
Oh,
oh
okay,
we eat Hispanic food,
okay.
like I'm Puerto Rican, my husband is Cuban, so it's like rice, beans, and meat, all of that. Like it's
Yeah. Well, the nice thing is that essentially you can take what you're doing for them and you just pull out the things that you need from that in the portion that you need.
yeah.
So for us, the big thing is to make sure that you're getting enough protein. That's a huge deal, right? So we start with protein first. So whatever meal you're cooking, what protein are you cooking with the meal? So, that's where you want to start. And then look at how you're cooking, like the nutritionist that you talked to before. She probably gave you some ideas of how to cook meat, and whether it's sautéing it in a pan or baking it, broiling it, using air fry or something like that. And then when it comes to things like rice and yuca and the starchy plantains, those things, then it's really more about watching the portion size
Mhm.
that you're consuming, and then what sort of healthy fruits and veggies can you add. So if your family's not eating those, maybe you just buy something that you can just quickly make for yourself.
Yeah. No,
So
I know. Like she gave me this diet like it's portion.
uh,
So yeah, so I know I can do it, but try to eat first. This is what she told me now because I already called her and tried to do something base, in the protein and all of that.
mhm,
So she told me that I need to start eating with the protein when I have the plate, and then try to eat the rest of the um dinner or whatever the plate.
yeah.
So yeah, but it's like everything is in portion, the rice, the beans.
Mhm, yeah.
We eat also tomato, cole, lettuce, all of that. But also we eat rice, beans,
Yeah.
the salad, the meat, like
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
we eat. But I think that I can do it. I think that I can do it. The thing is that I have 44 years old. 10 years ago, I lose 100 pounds. But at the
Fantastic.
same time that I lose it, like 5 years later, I moved from Puerto Rico to here, and again, I regaining weight,
Yeah.
and now it's harder to
Yeah.
read up. So this is why I decided all of this. But yeah, I think that I can do it. But the reality is it's a struggle when you are around when the family, when everyone, that it's a lot. When I go to any with the family, with my sister, with my aunt, and everything is about food. Everything,
Yeah.
you know.
I think all of us, our families, any kind of gathering, it's always centered around food. It doesn't matter if it's family or community or church, anything. Food's always at the center of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, and too, this month in our social media, we're really talking a lot about what to do with celebrations and vacations. And for some of those things, if they're going to have things that you can't do, then do a little planning ahead. And so I've had several people, throughout the years, they'll bring something that they can eat if there isn't something they can eat. Or I have one lady, she's just so adorable because what she'll do is she'll get the Premier Clear, like the not the milky ones, but the ones that are like a juice. And so she'll pour that in her glass, and she drinks sips on that the whole time that she's there. And she might put a little fruit on the edge of it or whatever, because her family, they may be drinking drinks. And so she'll do something like that. And that's what I've seen people do. They'll bring stuff or they'll get an appetizer plate and eat off of that and eat nice and slow and focus on other stuff. And you know, my husband's family is Puerto Rican, and I grew up loving celebrations because that was the only time where I could eat whatever I wanted, however much I wanted. And so there's like a little light bulb that goes off in my head when we get together as family. And so one of the things that we do is after we eat, we just start playing games. We start playing dominoes, we start playing other things. If it's summertime, we get in the pool. And so for me, that's great because it can distract me from what's on the table because it seems like it's a magnet just drawing me back to wanting to, you know, oh, I can have a couple chips, I can have a little bit more, you know, rice and beans, I can have a little bit more, another hot dog or whatever. So if you can find other things to keep you busy, that will help greatly. And you know, it's a journey, and it's not like you're expected the moment after you have surgery that everything in your mind will change. And that takes a long time. And so I think it's great that you have an entire year of practice, you know, as you're losing weight to work on that. And probably the hardest place to make those changes are going to be at home, right? Because everybody is, you know, they have their style of eating, and you know, all your life you and with your family, as long as you've been married, you probably have been cooking a certain way and buying certain groceries and having snacks or drinks or whatever it is that you have in your house. And so, you know, you just start to kind of make small adjustments. What I've learned is when I want to make big changes, I start with the ones that I can make that I will affect nobody else. So, you know, if I was drinking soda or juice, then maybe I'm drinking more water and Crystal Light, and that might be where I start. And then maybe the next thing is, okay, I'm going to eat what everybody else is eating, but I'm going to get a smaller plate. So I'm just going to go to that smaller plate and eat nice and slow, do a lot of chewing, taking, you know, small bites, that sort of thing to prepare me for the next step. Because some of those things you can do in the beginning and they don't affect your husband, they don't affect your kids. And it isn't until, you know, if you start looking at like, hey, what's everybody snacking on? You know, are there adjustments you can make with the snacks that everybody has? Can you know, if you're doing goldfish and cookies and things like that, can you slowly start to make adjustments to have more fruit in the house? Or, you know, can you put everybody's snack in a bin that's maybe above your head where you can't see what's in it? Those are some of the things that I've done because I'll be more apt if it's right in my face, I'm gonna find a way to eat it. So we just bought some little cloth bins that all the snacks go in there. Or if it's in a big box, it goes on the top shelf so that I don't, you know, it's just not as accessible. Or maybe it goes in the laundry room closet or somewhere else that it takes me a couple more steps to get there. But it's the mindset part's hard.
No, it is true, but the thing is when I have to do all the stuff for the veins and everything, all that part, I already talked to Dr. Fernandez, and I know what I have to drink, to the snacks and all of that. So I'm doing it. Like I have fruit in here, strawberries, grapes, almonds, yogurt, um let me say, like everything that I can get it. In my work, I'm a teacher, so in lunch I have the protein shake.
Good.
So, I'm just trying to make changes, little by little. And well, right now, I know that I can do it. It's just like I see it results, because I can see some results, but it's not so, it's not so big. I try to do everything that I did more than 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And in that moment, I lose like 10 pounds in 1 month. Right now, it's like two.
Yeah.
And then you get frustrated. That's the thing. So,
Yeah.
but I already made some changes. Like with drinks, I don't buy, like, by any chance soda in here. Like no one can have soda. And I already talked to my kids. So I bought juice, 100% juice for them. And for me, I have a bay that the doctor told
Oh
me.
yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, and also Celsius.
Mhm.
that I just have like one with dinner or something like that. And so I'm just trying to change all that stuff that I know they're important. That maybe we don't see that it's important, but it is, because when you got like in your mind that you have this kind of juice or this kind of soda, if I'm gonna have the surgery, it's not gonna change like this. You know, it's like I know that I had to do it. So right now I don't drink soda by any chance. I drink water and Bay or Celsius. That's it.
Mhm. Yeah.
So
Yeah. And you know, the hard part before surgery, one is you've already touched on it, is you you know, the more times that we work to lose weight, sometimes the harder it becomes. And especially if you've had such a dramatic weight loss as 100 pounds, uh, for quite a while, you're fighting against your body to maintain that weight. And it doesn't take much to start to, you know, get, for weight to be put back on, because when we diet and we eat less, then our bodies require less. And you lost a lot of weight, so that means you required less calorically than when you did in the beginning anyways. And then it's, you know, when you gain it back, it's so frustrating and so hard. And then, you know, as women, once we get into our 40s and into our 50s and we move into that area where we are in menopause or perimenopause or premenopause, it gets even harder because all of our reproductive system is shutting down. And so our body's way to cope with that is actually to increase the amount of fat on our body because it produces estrogen. And so you've got a couple, probably a few different things that you're dealing with there. But what I've seen with people after surgery is once they have surgery, you know, that first 6 months is the most important. And that's really when you want to focus all your energy and attention on getting the protein that you need, getting the fluid you need, making those healthy changes that you're already doing, and really continuing to work on those all through that, you know, forever after that. But the first 6 months are the most important. And it sounds like you've already started those now. So, so that, you know, that's wonderful. Yeah. Now, Catherine, I know you have little kids at home. Do you have problems with snacks and like what to get for them and stuff, or do you just buy them healthier stuff? How does that work for you?
Oh my God. Like it's miserable having children. I don't recommend. Yeah, it's really challenging with snacks. Um, and we have healthy snacks, but that's never the first option.
Yeah.
Um, and but to be honest, like my work schedule, I work away from like I work in a hospital, so that like whenever I get home, it's usually after they go to bed is whenever there's like the most temptation for me to
Yeah.
indulge in that. But I will say that one of the things that I've been doing lately, and I watched probably too much TikTok, if we're going to be honest, is I'm not as much of a like salty or sweet I'm more of a sweet person than a salty person, but I've been trying to find dupes. Um, and so I've been trying like these cottage cheese recipes, and
Mm,
so blending like cottage cheese. So I love Oreos, and
mm,
so what I've been doing is this blended cottage cheese with like one or like a two. It's like a total of two Thin Mint Oreos, and like
okay.
you add protein powder, the cottage cheese, and it's two Thin Mint Oreos, um, and that has been like really good. Like that really helps, and I divide it out so that way I have a little bit each day. Um, and that's been helping with my sweet tooth, especially with like birthdays and celebrations around the corner. It makes me feel like I'm indulging as well, kind of to your point of like celebrations and that type of thing. So I don't feel like I'm completely out of it. Um, I used to do the Greek yogurt, but I just didn't get the like I don't know, something was off about the taste and the texture to me, but I felt like the
Mhm,
cottage cheese was very creamy and felt more indulgent
mhm.
than the Greek yogurt to me. But it's like you puree the cottage cheese.
Yeah.
So, anyways, the blender ice. And then another thing that I've been doing is I watch Water Talk as well. So I've been trying to do a lot of like the Mai Tai waters and stuff like that. So I feel like I'm getting a snow cone. Like you
Oh, yeah.
add flavors to waters where like you feel like you're drinking snow cones essentially. Um, and so that's what I've been trying to do to kind of help with that as well. Because you know, it's tough. It's straight up tough.
Mhm.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you. You
Yeah.
know, yeah.
Well, and you know,
That's my,
what's that, Catherine?
well, no, I mean that's kind of what I've been doing. That's been my adventure lately.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and two, you know, the other thing that I see with people is they really struggle with eating consistently throughout the day. And
Mhm.
and I what I've seen working with people over time is that sometimes some of those cravings and things can come because we're not eating consistently throughout the day. And probably one of the biggest things I see with most people is them skipping meals or not eating breakfast. And I feel sometimes like I'm on my own personal crusade to get people to eat breakfast just because I see the difference in how much people eat when they have something in the morning later on in the day versus when they don't. So I don't know if you ladies have, is that a struggle for you? Are you pretty good breakfast eaters?
No, I had breakfast every day, and
You
I cook
do?
for breakfast. Yeah, every day.
Oh, what kind of
Yeah.
breakfast do you usually have?
Well, egg with cheese, sweet cheese, and ham.
Uh-huh.
Maybe some toast, coffee. And my kids as well. Like they eat egg, sometimes hot dog, but hot dog without bread. You know, they
Uh-huh.
he like um yeah, some stuff like that.
Okay. So you're already on the right track getting prepared, having a good protein at your breakfast.
Yeah. I before I have something like protein, but I eat more bread than protein.
I got you.
So you see it. So I just try to. I love bread. That's one of my, that's one of the biggest struggle that I can have.
Yeah.
Like because, well, your husband is Puerto Rican. You
Yeah.
must know
Yeah.
that we eat everything with bread and rice. So it's for me in the morning, bread is essential. So that's one of my struggle. But now I'm just trying, yes, to have bread, but more protein, like, or more egg, ham, cheese, whatever, and then maybe one toast of bread.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And I'm not one of those people that thinks carbs are the devil. I think it's more what you're eating and how much you're eating.
mhm.
And so if you're having your eggs and cheese and ham or whatever in the morning and you're having a slice of bread with that, then and it depends too, like, you know, are you eating like the pre-made bread that's pre-sliced or are you eating Cuban bread?
I love Cuban bread, Puerto
Uh-huh.
Rican bread,
Uh-huh.
Puerto Rican, like the soul one, like the long
Yeah.
one, and
Yeah.
also I love the sweet bread. You know, like everything
Oh,
that is
okay.
Hispanic, like. But yeah, I can like I'm buying the sliced weight, 17
Okay.
grains.
Oh, okay.
I like it as well, so I can have it.
Okay.
But to be honest, I love if I buy it.
Yeah.
And the thing is, my family, my husband can eat like bread with. He just came from work and he don't bother about the food like the rice and beans. He just want bread. So everyone in the house love bread. So
Yeah.
that's one of the. But I'm just trying to change it. My mom is diabetic, and also she had I don't know, like 26 years ago heart open heart surgery.
Uh-huh.
So she already made a lot of changes in her life, and I share her with a lot. So yeah, I know that it's important, and I can eat it. I don't have any problem with that. So
Yeah. Okay. Well, good, good. Yeah, for us on a like when we all get together, we'll have Puerto Rican or Cuban bread, and we get together at Christmas time and as a family with friends, and we make cookies. And part of that is making pressed Cuban sandwiches. So yeah, so it's so delicious. The one thing that's kind of my saving grace with that is it goes bad really fast. So if you don't eat it, it goes bad. So, if I'm portioning it out or giving it away, whatever's left, then with that I can have a nice sized portion a couple of days with my breakfast. And, like you said, you're just, being mindful, even though you like it, you're just watching your portion size of what you're having, how much of that you're having. And I think we have to know what are the things that are maybe more of a trigger for us. I love sweets. And so if there are sweets around, especially at family gatherings, I have to be mindful that I eat everything else before I get to that. And then, I have that on a separate plate and I take my time eating that so I can enjoy it. Because when I was a kid, my whole family loved sweets. And so there would be, 10 different kinds of desserts. And so I would just load up a big plate with desserts as a kid. And so that's kind of where my mind goes when we get together as family to do that. Where for you, it may be like, oh, it's the rice and the beans and the bread and, the other special things that you have at those times. So I think, mindset is really important around our eating habits to keep your why in mind, why you're doing what you're doing, and looking forward to, the results that you're going to get from that. Um, and so now the other part about having surgery is we talk a lot about hydration. And I've heard you both talk about the, things that you're drinking to get hydrated. And our goal is at least 64 ounces a day. Are you both getting that, do you think? Yeah.
I have a question because these days I saw someone that had the surgery, and I think that day she was talking a little bit frustrated about it. She was saying about the good consequences and the changes in her life that they are not good, like the bad consequences of the surgery. So one of the things that she said, it was about the water, that she drink waters and she feel like it's like punch in her stomach. And I was worried about that because I drink a lot of water. I don't have any problem to drink water. But if that happened, what kind of solutions?
Mhm.
Maybe someone has. And also, she said that, and I asked another person that how she deal with that. But the thing is that that other person had the surgery 50, no, 10, like 13 years ago. So right now she told me, oh no, right now I don't have any problem with that. I can drink water. But she told me, but the first 2 to 3 years, it was hard. But she
Mhm.
told me that it was not about water, it was about cold water.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was, uh-huh,
Yeah. So it can be a couple things. It can be if you drink too fast,
uh-huh.
that can cause it. A lot of us, before people have surgery, we get thirsty and we just gulp, gulp, gulp. And we tell you after surgery to sip. So there's a difference, you're drinking slower. And so it could be that. It could also be the liquid is too cold and your stomach it doesn't react well to that. If you're doing something that's maybe cool or room temperature, it might go down better. The other thing that it could be is for some people, just water doesn't sit well for some reason. They can drink Crystal Light, they can drink the buy drinks like what you're drinking, they can do Propel or Gatorade Zero and it's fine. But for some reason, water just doesn't sit well with them. So you may find that is the case for you. So, but you may not. You may be perfectly fine. You may be able to drink cold water, take bigger sips and be okay. My guess probably is it's more she's taken a bigger sip and that's probably what is causing the problem, that or the cold water. So you just go slow, take small sips, and maybe the first time you start drinking, don't drink cold stuff, drink room temperature or stuff that's just slightly cool. Maybe you take it out of the fridge, let your water bottle sit there for an hour and then drink it. That may make a difference. Um, so everybody's a little bit different. And remember, it's not just water. It can be like the buy drinks that you're drinking. It can be Crystal Light. It can be like the little flavored drops or any of the powders, sugar-free powders you put in water, sugar-free popsicles, sugar-free Jello. It can be any kind of broth. It can also be decaf coffee or decaf teas that you count. So if water doesn't sit well, you have a lot of other options to try to get your 64 ounces of fluid. And the first couple months after surgery, you're balancing a lot of things because you're separating eating from drinking. So once you start eating, we have you stop drinking. If it's, as long as you're eating, you don't drink, and then you wait a half hour after you eat the meal to drink again. And so in the beginning, you're eating small amounts of food, and it seems like you're watching the clock all the time for when it's time to you be able to drink. And you can't drink much either. So the first 3 or 4 months, I see a lot of people that get really frustrated because they can't drink enough liquid, they can't get enough protein. Just keep pursuing that and pushing after that, and it will get easier. It's just in that first period of time where that's really a struggle. Oh, but you think you're getting at least 64 ounces of fluid a day? Yeah, yeah. Catherine, how about you? Oh, wait.
Yeah, I would say so. Especially like I said, I've been doing like the mixing of the different syrups and stuff, and like making it like almost like a snowball. So it's much easier to go down whenever it tastes like your favorite snowballs.
Yeah, yeah. So any of those sugar-free syrups you can do. I can't remember the skinny syrup. Is that the one you use, Catherine? The skinny syrups or a different brand?
Yeah, so I've been mixing packets and skinny syrups, and it's like Jordan skinny syrups is what it
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
Yeah, and like they're so clever. Like they have recipes on TikTok where like you can make them taste like Mai Tais and like all kinds of amazing things. It's really cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's a great way to get in the fluids that you need. Okay, so we talked about mindset around food. We talked about mindset around liquids. What about mindset around activity or exercise? Do you have limitations with that? Are you like me? It's something that's really hard to get rolling and keep going, or how do you guys feel about exercise?
I don't have time. That's right now it's hard for me because if I'm home, I'm doing studying with the kids, or studying by myself about my books, novels, blah blah blah, all the stuff. So I tried to make, like, 2 months ago, I tried to, like, make time to make exercise. I love Beachbody. And I got all of that. So I just trying to start, but then again, the semester just went hard. It's some moments that it just get hard, and then, like, boom, I don't have time. But I think after this summer it's gonna be easier
Mhm.
because in the moment that I am in my college, I think I can do it more. I'm gonna have more time to do exercise, and at the same time I can write. So I think that I can do that. Thank God my kids are right now they're studying more alone, so it's better for me. So it was that, like, the last years, it was a lot on my plate. But I think that that's gonna be better. Like, in this moment of my life, it's gonna be better. But I
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. When are
I don't
you
like
done
to
with
walk.
school?
Sorry?
When are you done with your schooling?
Um,
Got a while?
no, no. Why? It's because I'm in my dissertation. I just done my dissertation, and the thing is that I have ¿cómo se dice? Director and my mentor, my director, but I also have 3 readers. So when
Mhm.
I write a chapter, they have to read, and they have to give me feedback so I can just continue, and
Yeah,
that take a lot of time.
yeah,
So it's frustrated. I already had a conversation with my mentor, like, wait, I we need to run, because and also it's you get tired, when I waiting, and then you have a lot of ideas, and uh, all of that. So I want to finish in 1 year, maybe, or 1 year and a half,
Okay,
that I can defend my dissertation.
okay.
But I already finished with the classes, with all the exams and all that. It's just like the research and the book.
Okay. So there's light at the end of the tunnel for you. It's
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And I think with the where you're at, as you're preparing to have surgery, focusing on your eating habits and drinking enough fluid, those are very important. And if you've got, this next year that you're really working on your dissertation and trying to get that done, and your kids are going to be a little older, a little bit more self-sufficient, hopefully, right? So by the time you get to that 9 months, a year out from surgery, that's when you really want to amp up your activity and exercise. There are some people that I work with that they really don't start exercising until about a year out from surgery. So
Oh.
yeah, I mean, aside, and even that, like I have one lady, she's a little over a year out, and about 3 months ago, no, she's almost a year and a half out. So about 3 months ago, she started walking on the treadmill for 20 minutes a day, like 3 days a week,
Oh.
just to get in the habit of doing something. So, so
I would like to do exercise in the moment that the doctor tell me that I can do it,
uh,
because well, I don't want to have any surgery, well, I know that I'm gonna need a surgery for
right,
the skin, right? The skin
right,
removal, especially in the abdominal part and all of that. I know
right,
for sure that that's gonna happen.
yeah,
But if I can do some exercise that with Beachbody, with the
mhm,
um pesas, with weights,
uh,
all of that, so that can help me with the arms and another part of the bodies, that they can go down without the surgery.
yeah, yeah.
So I will like that.
Oh, yeah. And there's if you're on Facebook, there is a group. It's called Bariatric Beast,
Okay.
BEAST. And that's a lady that had surgery, and she does a lot of weight training, and she does challenges and things like that. So you might want to check out her group,
Yeah.
because that might be a great way for you to kind of get started. If you can't do Beachbody, I think she's got some pretty simple things to get you started in the beginning too, because
Okay.
really for that saggy skin and all that other stuff, from what I've seen, is if you can do more weight training, that helps a lot more with that. And
Yeah.
but everybody's different, it depends on where you hold your weight and how long you've had it.
Yeah, but I think it's more for that. It's obviously it's you're gonna lose weight, but
Mhm.
also with the skin, a friend told me that that's gonna help a lot, and my insurance can pay the
Mhm.
removal skin, but just with the abdominal part,
Okay.
because it's for health. They explained to me that with that skin, maybe you can have like rash or something,
Mhm.
and then it can be a problem, health problem.
Yeah,
So the insurance already approved some
yeah,
of the people from the county, so I think that I can do it. But at the same time, I said that I don't want another surgery.
yeah,
After that, I don't want anything else. So if I don't want that, so I can do exercise, and maybe it can help
yeah,
me.
yeah.
So
And Dr. Fernandez, there's a plastic surgeon that he works with. And for some people, they need more, like they need their arms and their thighs done, and other areas, breast lifts and things like that. And this other plastic surgeon, his name's Dr. Sokas, he has been able to get reimbursement for people for those other things. So,
oh,
sometimes, those other areas, like maybe on your thighs or on your arms, you're having problems with rashes or infections or different things. And so he sometimes can get reimbursement for that too, and insurance will pay. So I
oh,
mean, sometimes they will do more than just bellies, but you may not need any of that. You may be young enough, and maybe, you do some weight training and that kind of bounces back and you don't see as much of that. So
I hope so.
yeah. And, people are pretty amazing in what they can do with, the type of shirts they wear, and, um, pants and different things like that to kind of cover some of those areas too. So, sometimes that is a great option as well. But I do believe exercise is a key part of it. And I know long term, for people to maintain their weight loss long term, exercise is a big part of it. So eating and drinking the fluid is a big deal. But once you get into that maintenance part, it's way more important that you're finding activity that you love, exercise that you love, and you're doing that on a regular basis.
Mhm.
So yeah. How about you, Catherine? What are you doing, any sort of activity or exercise currently? It sounds like you're working pretty late.
Yeah, so lately I kind of bounce around from activity when I get bored of something. But lately I've been doing Pilates. I've been trying to do that. I do that once a week, but I also during the week I don't have a ton of time because I'm like the chauffeur essentially.
Mhm.
But what I do is I do try and like walk, but I also try to make it like something I enjoy. So like I'll watch a show that I like to watch on my phone while I'm walking to make it something fun. Like it's I get to walk because I get to watch
Oh,
my
yeah.
K drama, or like something to make it more exciting than just walking, or I'm running, or I don't know, something. I try to zhuzh it up, if you will. And then like for my Pilates is kind of how I treat that as like my weightlifting days.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's good. And you mentioned tying activity with something else that you enjoy. And I think that's super important. There's a gentleman that wrote a book called Atomic Habits. His name's James Clear. And that's one of the things he talks about in making habits that we stick to, is a lot of different things, but one of them is finding a way to make it pleasurable. And so, like for me, I would think, like, if I'm going to walk on the treadmill, then maybe I can only watch that show I want to binge watch when I'm walking on the treadmill. So that would be how I would do that. Or, if I'm going to go out for a walk, then, maybe if you have an Apple Watch, it's the goal is to close the rings in the watch. Um, for me, I have that yoga program that I do, and every time I do a yoga session, I get points, and those points eventually I can buy things like t-shirts and water bottles and things I could buy for myself. But there's just like a certain sense of making it like a game that makes it fun to see how quickly I can get the points up there to get some free something. So, whatever you can do to make that exercise part of life fun and enjoyable, that for me is a big deal. I don't, I've got short, squatty legs, and so I'm not going to run a lot, but I love getting on a bike and riding a bike. I love doing yoga. I love weight training. And kayaking. And so I try to find things that I really enjoy doing. And, a couple things with that. Remember, things that we wouldn't normally count as exercise could potentially count. So cleaning your house, gardening, cleaning out the garage, washing your car, parking, for you, if you can't do exercise right now, one of the things you could do is when you go to Walmart or go to the mall, park farther away. So you got to walk farther to get into the building. And just little things like that can make a difference. Or if you got to park in a parking garage, park on a higher floor and take the stairs up and down this, when you're parking your car. So little things like that can make all the difference in the world, just in getting a little bit of extra activity here and there. And the other thing is, we don't have to do it all at once. So if you are really struggling to get in any activity, remember, you can do it in short bouts of 5 to 10 minutes. So, maybe if you're in the morning, got to walk the dog, or somebody, one of the kids is walking the dog and you're looking to get activity, you can walk the dog yourself to be able to get in there, get in a little bit of activity to do that. So yeah. So we talked about mindset around those three: exercise, eating, hydration. So what other questions do you ladies have, or what are you struggling with now? Or do you have a victory you want to share with us?
Well, my big victory is that I'm going to have the surgery,
Yeah,
like finally,
yeah,
because we were talking one time that maybe I cannot have it.
yeah,
because of the all that craziness. So when they can finally fix all of that, so now I cannot believe that I'm gonna have it,
Yeah.
honestly. So that's
Yeah.
my big, big, big victory.
Yeah.
Um, so, but at let's see, well, my surgery is gonna be the 31st, so
Mhm.
that's another step.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It'll
Yeah.
be here before you know it.
Yeah, like yeah, but it was hard. Like it was 2 years that I just passed. Like we just passed in specialist. Dr. Fernandez is going to. We first tried to have the surgery in Brandon Hospital, but he told me no, you're gonna have it in Advent Health in Carrollwood because all the specialists they're gonna be there.
Yeah.
He told me no, all the specialists are gonna be there. They said that I'm a unique case because the that kind of condition supposedly most of the time came from the liver, but my liver were good.
Yeah.
So that was the big question for all of them, like what happened? So I went to all these specialists, they were together, and then finally found that I had an obstruction in one of my veins that is a very rare that that vein get obstructed and they found that it was by trauma, that I don't have any coagulation problem, that it was something that happened in one moment that we don't know, and that happened. So it's they said that I'm unique in that way.
Mhm.
So all of them want to be there. So he told me also that I want everyone to be there and I want to be sure that you're gonna be okay and everything. So it was 2 years that they were very stressful and at the same time it's just not fine that it's also that I was in a big risk that I can have internal bleeding.
Yeah.
But based on that, so I look at him and say, "You saved my life." Like
Mhm.
he just saved my life, and well, right now that just be better and pass all of that, and now can have the surgery and get better in all the stuff that I want to
Mhm.
is a big thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's wonderful.
yeah,
Wonderful. Yeah, and life, then you have the summer, kids are off school. They get out
yeah,
pretty soon, right? Couple
yeah.
weeks.
Yeah, it's June and oh no, we're gonna and 26. That's the last day.
Oh, okay. So then right before your surgery, so you'll have, the summertime to recover.
Yes.
So you said you work in a school?
Yeah.
So are you off for the summer or do you work?
Yes. I'm off.
Oh, good. Okay. You're going to go back to school and they're not going to know who you are.
I know. Maybe some of the kids that I have right now that I'm gonna have next year, they're gonna be where's Miss Rivera?
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh, fantastic. That's a wonderful victory. How about you, Catherine? What victories you have?
Um, I guess like more recently, I've been focusing. Well, it was actually because of I've been trying to make sure that I get in my water. That's been my real big focus lately. And
Mhm.
honestly, it was because of a lawsuit with, um, I forgot which, it was with one of the like, I think it was Simply Lemonade, and it had like toxic chemicals in it with Coca-Cola Company, and they were like suing. And I was like, oh my gosh, like what is going on with that? So I yeah, and anyways, all that to say, I like looked into it and I was like, maybe I should not be drinking as much soda.
Yeah.
So yeah, so anyways, so I've been trying to focus on water, and I have to say I've been doing like a lot better, and I was so proud of myself that sometimes I'll drink greater than 8 cups a day, and
All
that's been
right.
like a huge win. So that's been my personal victory.
Yeah. Yeah. That's wonderful. I know for many, many years I drank diet soda like crazy. And
Preach.
yeah, and it was really hard to stop drinking stuff like that. Um, but one thing that Dr. Fernandez does, he has you do the lemon water in the morning, right? Yeah. And so I didn't always do the lemon water in the morning, but I thought, well, he's telling everybody to drink lemon water. Let me try that instead of drinking soda and see how I like that. And I found I'll take like half a lemon, squeeze it in my water, and keep adding water to it all day. And I drink that really well. Kind of a side note with that is I used to get a cold Florida doesn't change seasons really, but like when everybody would have allergy season, and then in the fall, like in the winter when it started to get cool, I would always get a cold. I don't get those anymore. And I think it's from because lemon's high in vitamin C, and I think that's part of the reason why is because I just have continued drinking that. So I think more water is definitely good for us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. Well, all right, ladies, we're down to our last couple minutes here. Is there any parting questions or comments? Anything you need help with?
I don't know if I'm gonna be in another meeting like this. I just received the email like that's nice. I want to know more.
Yeah,
I just buying the vitamins for the surgery. So I got the one vitamins about the hair, skin, nails, another one that is multivitamin. But and also I bought something that is like caramel, but is I think it's iron. I'm not sure. I have
oh,
it all
maybe
over.
is it calcium maybe?
I think so.
Is
But
that a list
I
that he gave you?
he gave me some of them when when we planned to have the last surgery. I had to. Well, I have an appointment. I have an appointment in the 18th, but I want to be very sure what kind of multivitamin is they are effective.
Yeah,
Can help me like good.
yeah.
Uh,
So with your multivitamin, you want a multivitamin with iron, and it should have at least 45 milligrams of iron.
um,
Yeah. And I can repeat that. Um, he sells the bariatric fusion in his office.
uh-huh.
So you can do that. They have a one a day that you can do. And you can try that and see if you like it. And if you like it, you can order it off of Amazon. Um, there's also a couple other companies I recommend frequently. One is called Unjury, Unjury,
And
Unjury, and they have a one a day multivitamin that is
uh-huh.
pretty good. And then the other brand that I like is called ProCare Health.
Mhm.
And that one the Undri you can't find on Amazon, but the Bariatric Fusion and the ProCare Health, you can find both of those on Amazon. So, and they have one a day multivitamins with 45 milligrams of iron. And then you'll also take calcium citrate, and that's probably what the chews are that you have.
Okay.
And usually we want you to take 12 to 1500 milligrams a day, but you can't take it with the iron and you can't take it all at once.
Okay.
So usually what we tell you to do is take the multivitamin with iron at breakfast, take 5 to 600 milligrams of calcium at lunch, and then take the other 5 to 600 milligrams at dinner.
Oh, okay. So just
So
split it. Mm.
yeah, you got to split it because if you take it with the iron, it will interfere with the absorption of the iron. If you take it all together, you won't absorb it all.
Oh, all right. Okay,
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah. And then the other thing that he'll have you take is vitamin B12. Does he have you taken that already?
Yeah.
Okay. So you'll continue that.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Uh,
and you'll start those about a week after surgery.
okay. All right. Yeah, I already got some of them. So, but I just want to be very sure. I to be honest, I freak out about that person that just start talking about the consequences of the surgery and all of
Mhm.
that. She lost 240 pounds. You
Yeah.
know, she's another person, honestly.
Yeah.
But at the same time, she was complaining about everything that she is, that is happening with her body in another way.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I need to find a way to change that. Or to have
Yeah.
another,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. So you want to make sure you get vitamins. And then the other big deal is make sure you're going back for your follow-up visits to Dr. Fernandez and that he's drawing your labs, because vitamin and mineral deficiencies won't show up for it could be 6 months, a year, 2 years before you start to notice things. And you could already be pretty deficient. And so that's
mm,
probably what happened with this lady. A lot of people don't take the vitamins and minerals, and then they're 2 years out and they're like, I broke a bone. Why am I breaking bones? Or my teeth are falling out. It's like, well, you aren't taking vitamins. So that's a consequence of that.
okay. So we have to be like sharp with all
Yeah.
vitamins and everything.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. No, I understand. I have also epilepsy, so I had to take my medicine like sharp.
Yeah.
So I can, when I had that medicine, I can have the other stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
So you just want to make sure that you're taking that. And you can always reach out to me. I'm glad to help you any way I can. Um, so this is kind of a special meeting because this is part of the My Bariatric Adventure course and community. And so we
Oh,
do 2 meetings like this a week, and we record them and then we upload them to our site so you can watch them again. But I'll email copies of this to you guys so you can have that. And then also within the My Bariatric Adventure Facebook community, we
uh-huh.
do once a month virtual support groups in there as well. And so this month in that group, when we meet, we're going to be talking about vacations
Ah,
and how to get ready for vacation and all that, beach days and celebrations and graduations and weddings and all of that. So if you are in that Facebook group, you can be part of that. For this one, we do twice a week meetings, and it's, you just go to mybariatricadventure.com and you can see what courses we have. I've got like 50 courses in there, and we have this community where we meet in there as well.
my bariatric
Adventure.
Facebook
Yep, and a website.
website. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, perfect.
All right, ladies. Well, you enjoy the rest of your evening. I'm so glad you came and hang out with me. And once the recording gets downloaded, I'll email it to you.
All right. Thank you so much for
All
your
right.
help.
All right. Take care.
Guys,
Bye.
bye.
Bye, Catherine.
Bye.